Hey everybody, welcome back. We are going to be talking about the two major political parties in the United States today, starting with the Democrats. The Democratic Party was established in 1792 with a group called the Democratic Republicans and would eventually just be called Democrats. The Democrats are credited with having created Social Security under Franklin Delano Roosevelt and the welfare system also under FDR. They're credited with having signed the Civil Rights Act, which ended segregation in the United States. It ended discrimination, Jim Crow laws. That was JFK, John F. Kennedy, in 1964. They're also credited with the Voting Rights Act, which ended any type of discrimination in voting based on race, and that was in 1965, just after JFK had been assassinated. So Lyndon Baines Johnson gets credit for that. The basis of the things that they believe are increased government regulation and involvement in your everyday life. They increase government programs like welfare, like food stamps, like housing loans, all kinds of government programs. They just think that the government should be able to regulate things to make things fair. That's their belief. They also think that because you're going to increase regulation, you're going to need more money. So they spend more money and they also raise more money by raising taxes. Then you have the Republican Party, which was established in 1854. Abraham Lincoln is the most famous Republican. He is credited as having tried to preserve the Union and end slavery. There's a lot to that. If you have questions, please call me and I could tell you so much about Abraham Lincoln and the complexity of ending slavery and his strategy during the Civil War in preserving the Union. Republicans are also credited as having the first African American and first woman elected to the national level in Congress. That was just after the Civil War. African Americans were put into Congress during the period of Reconstruction. Republicans favor decreased government involvement in programs, and they would like to cut spending and cut taxes, which is always what Republicans campaign on for the presidency. They want to cut taxes. They want to cut spending. They don't often do either because our government is so big that they can't feasibly cut our taxes so much. They do cut it, but it's not really all that noticeable. Anyway, it's very hard to cut taxes in this country because we have a $4 trillion budget every year. Here are some famous Democrats. Obviously, Barack Obama was the last Democratic president. You have people like Oprah Winfrey, who was a very famous Democrat. She's the richest woman on earth, or the second richest woman on earth. She is famous for having spent money to help people. Hugh Hefner. John F. Kennedy is a really famous Democrat because he signed the Civil Rights Act into law. Justin Timberlake, Jay-Z and Beyonce, and Michael Jordan, all very famous Democrats. Here are some famous Republicans. Obviously, Donald Trump, who is the current president of the United States, is a Republican. You have Chuck Norris, famous Republican. The Rock, which actually I just looked it up. The Rock is no longer a Republican. He has become an independent, but he was a Republican for a very long time. You have Karl Malone. Karl Malone is a famous basketball player, second most points all time in the NBA. He played for the Utah Jazz and the Los Angeles Lakers. He was raised in southern Louisiana, so he has been a Republican for most of his life. Adam Sandler is a famous Republican. Taylor Swift, which actually this picture she took a lot of heat for because she wore a Make America Great Again hat and supported Donald Trump, which during the last election was not a fashionable thing to do amongst Hollywood elites, which you could consider her. So this picture is really famous. And then this is LL Cool J, who is a famous Republican and has been for a while. So how do we know what these parties believe? There are platforms and planks, okay? When you think about platforms, you should think about the entire belief system of the political party. And essentially what it is everything they believe. Each individual idea is called a plank. It is what builds the platform, if that's how you can remember it. So each individual plank, one idea is put together into the larger platform. So here we go. Let's see if we can remember what each party believes. Democrats are described as liberal, meaning they are more giving. Republicans are described as conservative, meaning they don't give as much. They like tax cuts. They like to keep their money. So they're described as conservative. Democrats are pro-choice when it comes to abortion, meaning you as a woman have the choice to do with your body what you want. You can abort children. Whether you agree with that or not doesn't really matter at this point. That is what Democrats believe in. Republicans are pro-life, which means that abortion should be illegal. Democrats are pro-gay marriage. Republicans are anti-gay marriage. Gay marriage has been legal for about 5 or 6 years now at this point. And nobody really cares anymore. Most Republicans don't even care about gay marriage anymore. Democrats are for government-provided health care like Obamacare, Medicaid, Medicare. And Republicans are for private health care, meaning that you should be allowed to get your own health care. Democrats are for more gun control. Republicans are for more guns or less gun control. Democrats are pro-public school. Republicans are pro-charter school, which is more like a private school but funded by public money. Democrats are for affirmative action, meaning that minorities should get more opportunities in business for being a minority. Republicans are against affirmative action. Democrats look to spend more government money while Republicans spend less government money. Democrats with that government money are going to make a bigger government. Republicans want to make a smaller government, and that's federal government. Democrats are pro-high taxes. Republicans are pro-low taxes. Democrats are pro-environment. Republicans take no stance on the environment because it is very expensive to be environmentally friendly. Democrats want a smaller defense budget. Republicans want a larger defense budget. So Republicans don't like to spend money unless it's on the military, in which case they love to spend money. And honestly, the military budget is rapidly approaching $1 trillion per year. It's very, very high. It's 10 times anyone else in the world's military budget. Democrats are pro-labor union, which means they want workers' rights, and Republicans are pro-business and specifically pro-business owner. Democrats are anti-corporal punishment, or that means they are against the death penalty. Republicans are tough on crime, meaning they are pro the death penalty. Democrats are secularists, which means they are not confined by religion. They take ideas from other parts of the world. Republicans are religious. They legislate with the Bible as a guide. So they are religious, but only Christian religious. Democrats are blue collar, which is more like pro-worker. Blue collar workers would be like factory workers, mechanics, so on and so forth. Republicans are white collar, meaning they're pro-doctor, pro-lawyer, pro-businessman. And that's all for today. Please let me know if you have any questions. Understand each individual idea is a plank. This whole thing is a platform for both. Thank you guys. I hope you have a good day.